Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the series, or welcome for the first time if this is your first time watching. This is going to be our third episode today. Um, my name's Cody Arnold, and on last episode, I think we left off with around $61 or so in the bankroll. Um, that was Saturday, yesterday. Today was Sunday. I had a paper due today, so I played like a 30-minute session or so early on in the day. And then I just did another hour and a half session right now. Um, and I think we added about $16 to the bankroll playing 2 cent, 5 cent. Um, so we'll be going over hand analysis and stuff on this video for those sessions today, which is Sunday, October 1st. Um, so for anyone new to the channel, I'm just going to, every time I start a video, we're just going to go over pretty much the basic rules that we set in place, right? Never play more than 8 hours a day. Um, if we go through 3 buy-ins, we're gonna call it a day. And another rule we have for ourselves is not to play if we have homework due the next day that we haven't done on this series, right? So we put in the $20 on episode 1. We're just gonna be running up the bankroll at 2 cent, 5 cent until we have 30 buy-ins at the next level, which is 5 cent, 10 cent with a $10 buy-in. So once our bankroll gets to $300, we will move up to the next level, and that will be season 2. So whenever we get to $300, that's when we'll start season 2, and so on and so forth as we go through the levels. And you guys can just follow. And it's really kind of a tutorial-based series that I wanted to do for just average people that just want to see how you can responsibly and conservatively build a decent sized bankroll. So that's just pretty much what we're going to be doing on this series, is literally doing that, and see what kind of bankroll we could get. I haven't really put a time cap on how long I want to be doing this. I'm in school this year until I guess like May, so essentially we could be doing this for like 8 months or so. And I mean, who knows how big the bankroll could get in 8 months. But we'll get into some hands here from today's sessions. I think we have about 25 minutes worth of footage, and I'll just be playing them and doing running commentary as the clips play. And if there's anything that you want me to go more in depth about that I didn't, just shoot me a message, and we could do some hand analysis. My Instagram, you could just direct message me on there. It's probably the best way. It's Cody_John92, and so we'll just get into some of the hands here. All right. So first hand of the session. This session started at 3:40 today. We had 2-3. I raised my blind, and I'm just kind of priced in. This guy just shipped, so whatever, we just call, and he has aces, and we just have our run good switch on, and we win. So pretty unfortunate for that guy. And it's just kind of full disclosure, right? So I just want you guys to be able to see all of the hands that we play and where the bankroll goes and why it goes where. So I'm not just going to include hands that we play well. I'm just going to put all relevant hands on here, including losses, bad bluffs, and everything. And that way we're just including everything, so there's no miscommunication in what happened to bankroll. And I'm just going to show you everything, including bad plays. So here we have ace jack off. We call a raise from our guy in the cutoff, and then the other guy bumps it up just like 10 cents. So it's kind of weird. We just are going to flat out of position. Decent strength hand. So ace comes on the board. We're going to put in a really small bet here. Just kind of range our opponent's strengths. They're both pretty short stacked also, so he just puts in a min raise, so we'll just call. There we go, we hit 2 pairs, so now we're beating all better aces here. And it's unlikely he has an ace. I don't think he does, so I'm just going to check it to him and check raise him. That's kind of the plan. So We raise, he calls. So I guess, I mean, we're losing to ace queen now and flushes, but we do have the ace of hearts, so we'll just put it in. If he has ace queen, we're beat, whatever. But if he has any other ace in his hand, we're winning, which is what we do. He tanks, so obviously if he calls, we're good. We didn't get snapped off here. And I believe he does call, and we will just take it down. And that's that. That is that. Okay. So I think that's it for that session for me. That was just earlier on in the day. I just played a little bit. I think we added like $2 or something really small to the bankroll. Go enter it in. Sorry, I should have cut this part out of the video. I thought this clip was much shorter. So just bear with me while this runs through. This is the Bankroll tracker app that I use. I left links in the other two videos, so you can check out the links. I'll put a link to it in this description as well. This is a version that I paid for, but they do have a free version with a lot of the same stuff, so it's a pretty good app. I'd recommend it for anybody that's going to be playing. I mean, whether you're rec or it doesn't really matter what level you're playing, it's always good to just track things and get an idea of how you're playing, right? So it'll give you a lot of cool stats. It gives you what you're making per hour. You can log different locations if you play at a few different casinos, and then over time, once you have a big enough sample size, I mean, you can see if there's certain places you do better at, certain times when you play you do better, periods of time. So if you play too long of a period, you can see where all of your stats go up and down depending on where you're playing, how you're playing, levels, and all that stuff. And then you just manage your bankroll here. So pretty fortunate for us because so far we're 5 for 5 in positive sessions since starting the series. And I mean, this session that I play later in the night that I actually just finished is another positive session. So pretty good for us. We're 6 for 6 in positive sessions. So we have 10 king of hearts. Guy raises to 18 cents. We're just going to flat. We have position on him. No real reason to raise here. It's a pretty decent strength hand for the position that we're in. So everyone comes along here. Jack high flop, 2 diamonds. Not a whole lot for us on this board. This guy's pretty much going to c-bet, I would think, his whole range on this board. He puts in a really small bet, so I mean, no reason to come over the top on him. We got 2 people behind us, so we'll just call for this price. I mean, just kind of hang out now if he's pricing us in for nothing. So he checks, we'll probably check back here. We picked up a gut shot, and we hit our gut shot. So today the run good is on. I think he puts in a pretty small bet here. So I think we're kind of just hoping he has like ace queen or something. He bets 10 cents. We're going to raise it up, obviously. I think 75 cents is what we do. Okay, 70 cents. Button's going to fold, and 6 is going to fold as well. And then we'll just take it down. So ace 5 of diamonds under the gun. We raise up 4x. If you watch my earlier videos, I mean, 4x is pretty much my standard size. If there's limpers, then I will charge limpers 1x on top of the 4x. So however many limpers we add, 1x per limper. So completely whiff this flop, but we're just going to put in a c-bet. Pretty much always. I think this is a tutorial actually on how not to play ace 5 of diamonds. That's what I was doing here. Alright, so we bet queen high flop. He flats. We don't really put him on a queen. We're going to try and sell the story that we do have a queen. Put in 35 cents here, kind of moderate value bet bluff. So the flush draw gets there too, and I think we are just super stubborn and polarize ourselves here with our worst hand, right? So this is pretty much like the complete worst hand that we'll have betting ever here. So we're going to super polarize. We make it 2.5 into 1.5. So pretty large overbet. So I mean, either I have a boat here or I have what I have. So he folded that hand, and we just took it down. Pretty not a pretty, I don't know, not a great play. I don't think. I just got stubborn and we ended up taking it down, which is great, but it's a pretty high variance play there, I think. King 9 of hearts. We had 2 limpers, so like I said, 4x and plus the 2 limpers, so we 6x to 30 cents. Under the gun's gonna flat, and I believe 6 flats too. Okay, 6 folds. So we whiffed this flop too. We're just whiffing flops tonight. I think he's gonna check and flow, and we will just c-bet this. He comes along. Alright, gonna continue with our story, which I guess I don't even know what it is at this point. I guess we're gonna be selling maybe an overpair. So we completely missed this run out as well. If he was on a flush draw, like if ace high flush draw, he's gonna win if we just check back, right? Because ace high is gonna beat us. So we just put in a small bet just in case he was on a flush draw that he can just fold since he misses flush draw. And obviously if he comes over, so he folds and we just win. So he was probably on a flush draw. But the reason for the bet there on the river is if he is on an ace high flush, even though we're really not, wanting to continue anymore, we will fold out his ace high flushes if he doesn't have a pair on that board, which is what I think happened. Ace 7 of diamonds on the button. This guy raises pre and just kind of half pots all through, and we just call him down. Board pairs under, and I don't know. I don't really remember what happens here. He bets 85 cents, and knowing me, we're probably going to just call because we're stubborn, and we just lose here to ace king. So not a great 3-barrel call by me, but full disclosure here, we're showing all hands. So we pick up ace jack, early position, raise 4x. Our buddy to the left calls, and we will see what the button does. He's going to call as well. Alright, so we're 3 ways to the flop. We have the ace of hearts, king high flop, 2 hearts, so backdoor, not flush draw, right? We'll just continue on this board. And there you go. Easy day. Not sure why that clip was on here. It seemed a little irrelevant. King jack in the blinds, raised up in position, so we're gonna try to re-steal here with a decent hand. Alright, we get a call. 3 diamonds. Pretty terrible flop for us. But that doesn't stop us, right? We'll just throw in a c-bet here. And if we get called or raised, we just shut down. And he folds, and that's that. We take that one down too. Pocket sixes, under the gun +1. We are going to raise to 25 cents here. And I believe we lose a good amount of our stack on this pot, if I remember correctly. And not because it was a cooler, just because we are relentless and don't know when to slow down sometimes. So 5-handed here, we're going to bet 35 cents, so just about a third of the pot, slightly less than a third of the pot, so maybe 32%. One's going to call us. Alright, so now we are open-ended. No reason to slow down now. I would imagine we're going to bet something like 60 cents. Okay, 80 cents into this. Even if a 9 comes, I mean, it's not really a great situation because it's going to be 4 to a straight if someone has a 10. We got to still dodge clubs, I would imagine. This guy calls again. So the 5 pair. So if anyone hit anything on the flop, we're not beating it. The flush draw gets there. I couldn't think of a hand that we're beating here if you paid me. That would just be continuing. So we are going to shut down here. I think we were thinking about all of our options and realizing that, we have none. Because 9-10 gets there, clubs get there. Anything that had a set has a full house or quads now. Anything that has a pair is beating us. It's just the worst run out ever. So he bets $1. 5's going to fold, and then, we just have to fold. There's literally nothing we're beating. Alright, so we pick up Ace King in middle position, and we raise 5x because there was one limper behind us. Flop comes out straight coordinated, but no flush draws. Put in our C bet here, a little standard C bet. And I don't remember what this guy does, so we will have to wait and see. Okay, so he raises. I think that he was getting a little annoyed with my aggression. A lot of people do this. They will check raise just if they think you're messing around, and most players do just fold to something like that. But I like to just flat instead of come back over the top because then people think you're just playing games back with them. But if you flat, it just is way more strong, I think. So we flat, and he checks to us, and we're just going to put in a bet size that he had raised too, just to really look like we're just begging him to raise us or to come in with a call. I think this way this just looks a lot stronger than if you were to bet something closer to pot. I think this play just looks very strong, and if we get called or raised here, then we'll be done with it. But he folds and we win. So Ace 5 of hearts in the big blind. We get 1 limper, 2 limper, 3 limpers, so we are probably going to make it 35 cents. 30 cents, okay. Raise up to 30 cents. Let's see what these guys do. Get a fold. Player 2 comes along, and player 5 folds. Alright, so we flop bottom pair. Pretty coordinated board here. We're going to put in our C bet. No reason to put in a huge C bet. You get plenty of information with smaller C bets, and you save yourself money in the long term, I think. All right. Small blind with Jack 7. This is going to be a limped pot, so we're going to get just priced in because it's limped around, and it costs us 3 cents to see a flop. Alright, so 3 limpers plus the big blind, so 3 cents to call for 22, so we're getting like 7 to 1. 7.33 to 1, I think that is. So we flop top pair, so we're just going to lead this flop for almost pot. There's 2 hearts out there as well, straight draws, and just kind of coordinated board. So we'll just bet out, narrow the field a little bit, hopefully just take it down. So we get a call. Five calls. So 5 limped, remember, and he's in. He's got fairly good position. So if he had a good hand, I would imagine he would have raised pre-flop. If he had like king queen or Jack King or Ace King or any of those Broadway connectors, I think we would have heard about a pre-flop. So the fact that he just limped is part of why I'm going to call this bet here, especially because of the bet sizing. It just looks like he's trying to push us off. So we'll just call him here. I'm more concerned about 2, honestly, than anything else, because people that limp early sometimes have good hands that they're hoping someone else raises so they could come over the top. But he checks, the king comes, another king, so it's a lot less likely that 5 over there has a king now. Probably has something like 8-9 or like ace-5 or like 5-4, 10-9, something in that range, and he's just trying to buy it now. So we'll just flat. If we don't believe him on the turn, there's no reason to believe him on the river, especially because now it's less likely that he has the king. I mean, 2 could definitely have a king here, so I'm way more concerned about 2. But he folds, and okay, so he had 5-6, so we just take it down with our jack. And then I think we get disconnected. I think we got disconnected. Yeah. It's the precious and lonely road. So we got disconnected. We had, I believe, $9 when we first started the session. We bought in for 5, and our table quickly broke, and we made 5 cents. So we had plus 5 cents from the first table. It just got disconnected there, so we had plus $4. We're gonna rebuy at the next table for 5, so really we're in for 1 if we're counting the profits from that table. And so we have pocket kings at our new table here. Under the gun plus 1 raises just about 3x. He gets a limper behind. We got position here. We're gonna raise it up 0.8, so 80 cents. Play a pot with these guys in position with my second favorite starting hand. Alright, so he's going to come along. Don't really have to worry about him having aces now, which is always nice. Always sucks when you see a $2 4 bet there, and then you just kind of shrug and put all your chips in and then lose to aces like 100% of the time. Okay, so Queen 8-8, pretty safe board for us. I think we could put him on like 10s or jacks or ace king here, maybe ace queen. Ace queen would be great if he has that. So we put in a small bet there on the flop just to kind of open up the door for his bluffs if he had ace king, or even to come over the top of the value if he had ace queen. So now that we got him a little more invested, we're gonna bet $1.15, a little bit less than half pot, and kind of set up his investment so he has to call an all-in on the river, right? If he calls 115, then he'll have 245 behind, and then the pot will be like $5, so he'll pretty much have to call, I think, with if he had jacks, 10s. I mean, he'd fold ace king if he was being stubborn with it, but ace queen's gonna have to call. I think jacks, 10s, 9s, all those hands that he was calling with, he's gonna have to call river with too. So that's why we set up the bet that way, but he does not, so I'm thinking maybe he had ace king. But anyway, so we take that pot down. Jack 8 on the button, well, on the virtual button, right? Because there's no one actually on our left. So we raise up to 20 cents here in position with Jack 8. Get a caller. This guy's super short stacked, right? $1.30. Okay, so we get 2 callers. He's got $1.30, very short stack. We'll put in the C bet here. Just hope to take it down. We get min raised. Like I said earlier, some people like to do this with air just because they think you're making moves in position. So I always kind of just like to flat and then see what they do on the next street. If they check raise check, it's typically weak, which is what he does here. It's kind of an awkward spot because bet sizing's weird. He has 80 cents behind, so if I put like 50 cents in, then I just have to call if he goes all in because it's like 30 cents. So we put in another small bet here, hoping he just realizes like whatever, I can't do anything. He thinks that I'm calling everything with the sizing, but I'm not. So I just fold there and we lose that hand. 7-5 of clubs here. So we had 2 limpers. So we raised it up to 35 cents. A little smaller suited connectors out of position. I like to raise pre-flop, represent strength, and then if a low run out comes, then great, you have equity. If a higher run out comes, then you can have some reasonable bluffs that people are going to believe because of your raising pre-flop from out of position. So it's typically what I like to do. So we flop middle pair here. 4 callers, pot's $1.38. We're going to put in the C-bet here. Little small one, fill out the field, thin it out a little bit, see who's where. So we get a caller, 2 callers, and 3 callers. So that's a pretty good turn for us. We turn trips, so pretty good. So we think about putting 75 cents, and then we see stack 4's size, I think, and then decide against that. Then we think about putting in a really small bet so he could ship, and then we could come back over the top. We decide that's dumb, and then we just make it $1. One's going to come along. So it's pretty safe to say someone here is on a flush draw, someone has an ace, and then this guy goes all in. So now I'm a little concerned because he could easily have pocket 3s here, or maybe a 7 with me, but at this point we're already invested and we're just going to have to get the money in. So 6-7, unfortunate. Okay, pretty fortunate. We hit our 5 and we have a full house. I mean, most of the time we're probably going to be chopping there anyway because an overcard to that 7 is most likely going to come out. So we win a huge pot there right at the end of the session. Well, that's pretty much what ends the session. We win that large pot, and we're pretty happy with the result of the night for another short session, yielding pretty good growth to our bankroll, right? So 4 days ago, what's today? Today is Sunday, so 3 days ago, we started this on Thursday, I believe. $20 in the bankroll when we began. Now we have, I think, like $75 in there. And like I said, we're going to remain at this level. We'll remain at this level until we have $300 in the bankroll, and then we'll move up to 5 cent, 10 cents. So it'll get a little more interesting. I know right now it's a little boring just playing for micro stakes. I'm bored with it too, but necessary for the purpose of the channel. Hopefully we'll get up. I was making everything pretty moderate with my estimation. So we, as I said before, we put the $1 in as our buy-in because we got disconnected when we were plus $4 on our initial $5 buy-in. So that's why we said when we were putting in the stats, that's why we put in $1, because the $4 profit minus our $5 buy-in on the second table is $1, right? So just so you guys understand why we put the $1 there as the buy-in. What was I saying? Okay, yeah, so I was being pretty conservative, I think, with my estimate on how long it's going to take us to move up levels. I said about 6 weeks per level. Honestly, at these lower levels, I think it'll probably take maybe 3 or 4 weeks, but 6 weeks is pretty safe to say. And then as we get up higher in the levels and higher in the buy-ins, definitely be more interesting watches and better players that we're going to be playing with. So, all right, guys. So that was today's session. Today was Sunday, October 1. So our bankroll's up to, I think, a little over $75. I have class tomorrow. Got my paper done today. I'll be done with class around noon tomorrow, and we'll see if I get any playtime in tomorrow. And if I do, whatever footage I get, I'll just continue to be uploading these videos so you guys can track the bankroll as we continue on this journey. All right. So if you have any questions, like I said, just go to my Instagram, Cody_John92, and just shoot me a DM. I'll be happy to answer anything. And if you like the videos, obviously subscribe, and you can track the just follow us along as we build this bankroll. All right, guys. Hope you had a good weekend, and we'll see you next episode.